impress me, man. You hear me? I know real money, man.
I don't like you. I'm gonna keep on it. I don't like you.
He let that out once he got a name.
Your mama's, your dad is, everybody you roll with.
There is a lot of drama surrounding him and the guys that he associate with.
Cantrell Deshaun Gaulden, known to the world as NBA YoungBoy, is now caught in a major federal investigation that could reshape his entire future. And the reason behind it is unbelievable. Federal agents were recently handed a detailed roadmap pointing to 19 serious violent incidents, and this has pushed the situation into a whole new level. This is the same artist who received a presidential pardon from Donald Trump and filled arenas across the country, yet now he may be facing one of the most intense federal cases ever connected to hip-hop. Behind the hit albums and sold-out concerts, investigators say YoungBoy was tangled in a dangerous street conflict that turned parts of Baton Rouge into a high-risk zone, creating years of tension that reached deep into Louisiana street circles. The information now in federal hands is far more intense than anyone expected, and new findings reportedly connect YoungBoy to a long list of violent events, giving investigators what they believe could form the backbone of a major case. This has shocked the entire music scene. People kept saying YoungBoy was finally clear of trouble. He got pardoned, he's touring, he's chilling in Utah, and for a moment, it truly seemed like he stepped away from all the chaos. His Make America Slime Again tour was packed, and life looked steady. But now everything is shifting because new facts are coming out fast. Everything took a turn when new evidence surfaced, details that investigators claim they had been trying to collect for years. According to reports, this new information connects YoungBoy to 19 separate incidents, each one linked to him or people from his 4K Trey circle, and that claim alone has brought massive attention back onto him. And before anyone calls this internet talk, remember, federal investigators do not move unless they believe something is real. They have monitored YoungBoy since 2018, when they officially labeled him as a leader within a violent Louisiana street group, and they have continued tracking every major event connected to that circle. Now here's where the story gets intense. New research reportedly tied together pieces that investigators struggled to match on their own, and this could shake up one of the biggest movements in modern rap. Every detail seems to point toward a long-running feud that sparked almost a decade ago. This timeline reportedly begins in September 2017 with the situation involving Baton Rouge rapper Garrett Burton, known as G Money. He wasn't just another rival, he was once close to YoungBoy, almost like an older brother when YoungBoy was rising through the ranks around the TBG crew.
Everything was still all good until he started, like doing his own thing, getting him a little buzz, getting a little money. He just got the big head and just started like the feelings he been feeling probably deep down inside that he was scared to put out. He let that out once he got a name.
Their fallout created a tension that shifted the entire landscape. But when NBA YoungBoy started rising fast and secured his deal with Atlantic Records, jealousy mixed with street pressure, and that bond between him and Garrett, G Money Burton, fell apart in a serious way. On September 10th, 2017, around 1:30 a.m., G Money was at a recording studio on the 1900 block of Dallas Drive, the same spot where the Top Boy Gorilla TBG crew created all their tracks. He was working on another diss song aimed at NBA YoungBoy, calling him a liar and challenging his reputation in the streets, and that energy kept pushing their conflict higher.
Shit you do don't impress me, man. You hear me? I know real money, man. Shit you do don't impress me, man. You hear me? You know what I'm saying? Copycat it. You the shit you see me do, you wanna do, but you supposed to be up though.
What you saying? Huh? I'm about to leave, man. What it is? You hear me? Who you is? Yeah. Around you, man. That nigga. I don't like you. I'm gonna keep on it. I don't like you.
Oh yeah. Get off a nigga.
But G Money made one risky move that night. He posted his location on social media while standing outside that same studio, talking boldly about how NBA YoungBoy wasn't really like that. And that moment put attention on him in a serious way. Then the situation took a dramatic turn. G Money stepped outside the studio one last time, and that's when he was ambushed. Several shots were fired, and just like that, the first major incident happened in what many Baton Rouge locals say marked the start of years of heavy conflict across the city. The wild part is that photos began spreading online showing blood-stained pillows from the scene, and people started repeating a rumor that the attackers tossed a pillow toward G Money and told him to go to sleep. That image became legendary around Baton Rouge, and it made people treat NBA YoungBoy's circle like a group nobody wanted to challenge. Then there was the moment Davon King Von Bennett mentioned that NBA YoungBoy had KA in his raps. Von was listening to YoungBoy's track Play With Us, where YoungBoy talked about people being harmed and drawing blood for blood.
What talking about on this song, boy?
What?
He talking crazy on this man.
Oh, yeah?
He ain't even like that.
Oh!
On his ass now.
On his
All that
ass.
cap.
Von cut the song off and said NBA YoungBoy wasn't being truthful about those numbers. But what makes this even more dramatic is that people later believed many of the numbers YoungBoy mentioned were connected to real events, and that idea created even more attention around him. And the second major incident happened just a month later involving Nisha Barnes, a 19-year-old woman sitting in a parked car outside a deli when shots came from a red Chevrolet Trailblazer. Witnesses said Nisha was caught in the crossfire during an attempt to target her boyfriend Hammer, who was in a serious conflict with members tied to NBA YoungBoy's circle. In NBA YoungBoy's leaked track Money Man, he even describes a situation almost identical to this one, saying he was trying to reach Hammer, but accidentally struck Hammer's girlfriend instead. But the cycle of violence was only beginning, and every month brought a new layer to the conflict. In May 2018, Frank Big Dump Tate, the manager connected to NBA YoungBoy, was tragically killed in what many believe was retaliation connected to earlier tension. Big Dump was in his old neighborhood on Nan Drive, spending time with family and friends, when a drive-by shooting took place with multiple witnesses present. That moment sent a message across Baton Rouge that the Top Boy Gorilla TBG crew was willing to strike back at anyone tied to YoungBoy's circle. The response came fast and carried serious weight. On November 26, 2018, TBG rapper Devon Boulevard Quick Nelson, who had been posting harsh comments about YoungBoy and even speaking about YoungBoy's mother, was killed at the Lakeside Villa Apartments just after midnight. Quick had been making bold videos online, daring YoungBoy to confront him, and the situation grew more dangerous by the day.
See this here? I got that up. Your mama's, your dad's, everybody you roll with.
When Quick was found with multiple gunshot wounds, the entire city saw how far the conflict had spread. What made everything even more shocking was how some members around YoungBoy addressed these tragedies in their music. The day after Boulevard Quick passed, YoungBoy went on Instagram Live, previewing lyrics from his upcoming song, My Mama Sad, where he talked about people threatening him while they were the ones facing danger instead. It created a huge wave of discussion online. Then, NBA Big B released tracks with titles centered around Boulevard Quick, even using cover art of himself smoking.
My mama. Think I ain't see that nigga, huh? A joke, huh? Bitch.
Which many listeners took as a direct reference. These songs were not just meant to diss. Many fans believed they were attempts to highlight the seriousness of the ongoing tension, and investigators later reviewed these releases closely. But here's where the story grows even deeper. According to reports, YoungBoy wasn't only reacting to threats. People believed he was building a structured network around NBA and 4K Trey, where anyone challenging them ended up in a dangerous position. The list of incidents connected to these feuds kept growing with every year. By 2019, YoungBoy mentioned in his music that he had already counted 3 major conflicts, and in the leaked track Murder Man, he suggested that someone speaking about him on Instagram might become the 4th. Many listeners assumed he was hinting at Davon King Von Bennett, who had recently spoken about him online. But the list of incidents kept growing because the tension in the streets never slowed down, and every new situation added more heat to an already dangerous timeline. The conflict expanded when people connected to NBA YoungBoy became wrapped up in their own neighborhood problems. In December 2019, a teenager named Jevin Brown sadly lost his life after a fight that began on a school bus. 2 young relatives connected to NBA YoungBoy, Boy Young and D Gobbler, were later arrested, which pulled 4K Trey into a new clash with a local group known as the 300 Alliance, turning the situation into something even bigger. The aftermath came fast. On Christmas Eve, another teenager, Avante Taplin, also known as T6, passed away during a home invasion, shocking the whole community and adding another layer of tension to the surrounding neighborhoods. Then in February 2020, a rising student athlete and artist named Garan Lebu, also known as Gurin Bang, was shot outside the Mall of Louisiana after a fight inside the building. Authorities later arrested 3 teens connected to the case, including Bradley Payne, now known as the rapper 38 Young, who is associated with the Northside Rangers, a group that has been mentioned around NBA YoungBoy circle. Many families were shaken because these were young people caught in situations far beyond what they should have been dealing with. Even though street politics often run deep, NBA YoungBoy's situation stood out because he had fame, influence, and resources that made every move feel bigger than the last. He began rapping about paying people, covering fees, and backing crews who protected him. And fans believed every lyric because real-life events kept lining up with the songs. On March 1st, 2020, Louis Creer, known as Scooter, was killed in a drive-by on Cambridge Street. Scooter was believed by many locals to be connected to the passing of YoungBoy's childhood friend Lil Dave years earlier. NBA YoungBoy had referenced Lil Dave in his music for a long time, and in his 2020 track Hold 13, he rapped about losing Dave when he was young and wanting justice once he became older. His lyrics added even more emotion to the situation, and fans felt the weight of every line. The tension reached a dangerous peak during a Miami incident in May 2019. NBA YoungBoy was staying at the Trump International Hotel, and individuals connected to TBG, including Lit Yoshi and Seven Hardaway, allegedly tracked his location and opened fire. A chaotic shootout erupted in broad daylight at one of Florida's most famous hotels. Sadly, an innocent man named Mohamed Girardi lost his life in the crossfire, and NBA YoungBoy's girlfriend was hit in the shoulder. The entire incident shocked Florida and Louisiana communities. Retaliation came fast. On March 22nd, 2020, Travis Parker, known as T-Baby, was shot and killed at his family home. 1 week later, Jason Nixon, known as Dutch, was shot outside a food mart. Dutch had long been connected to the TBG movement, and people in Baton Rouge saw his passing as a major shift in the atmosphere. Witnesses said 4K Trey members caught him at a gas station, and the tension across the city jumped to a new level. For anyone who doesn't understand how federal RICO cases work, here's the simple breakdown. The authorities do not need to prove NBA YoungBoy personally carried out acts of violence. They only need to prove he was leading a group that carried out crimes to protect their shared interests. And investigators believe the last decade shows a clear pattern. They are now connecting piece by piece. The situation grew even more intense in 2021 and 2022, when new conflicts erupted between local groups known as the Vultures and the Bleeders, and because of alliances, 4K Trey was pulled into the middle of everything. During this period, Cornell McDuffie, known as Nell, passed away after being shot while driving on the interstate, leading to a deadly crash. Another heartbreaking moment came when Michael Riley and his 5-year-old nephew Carson were killed in a double shooting on River Road, an event that devastated the entire city and pushed community leaders to call for peace. The most shocking moment in the entire timeline happened in February 2022 at the Mall of Louisiana. A man known as True Bleeder and his friend Cliff were ambushed in what witnesses describe as a well-planned attack involving 2 vehicles. They were tragically shot in the parking lot right after shopping, and the aftermath was captured on video, spreading across social media within minutes. Soon after, people connected to 4K Trey began posting reactions online. NBA YoungBoy's brother B. Wade shared EL with laughing emojis, which pushed the story into even bigger conversations across Baton Rouge because authorities pay close attention to any posts connected to violent incidents. A major part of the investigation came directly from NBA YoungBoy's music. In his track, My Bobo, with Herm the Black Sheep, he raps about being 15 bodies up and says Herm could name 5 bodies Herm caught personally. He talks about backing Herm during conflicts, watching him confront people, and reacting to news stories involving violence. These lyrics raised a lot of concern among investigators because they were looking for patterns and connections. But the most serious part comes from how NBA YoungBoy steadily updated his body counts in his music over the years. When he claimed 7 in Dead Trolls 2020, investigators located 7 separate violent incidents tied to ongoing feuds. When he claimed 12 in his 2022 track, This Not a Song, This For My Supporters, there had been 12 more deadly events reported in the same circles. And when he said 19 in Tears of War 2024, investigators noticed that the numbers lined up with a long list of unresolved violent cases. Even during 2024, after NBA YoungBoy was already dealing with legal restrictions, more tragedies took place in Baton Rouge and surrounding areas. A member known as Dart from the Soul Snatcher group passed away in a shooting that injured 5 others. Harley Ken, a manager who worked with different TBG artists, was killed in Lay Place. Sage Wilson from SOG was shot on Susan Avenue and later passed away at the hospital. These events kept the tension alive across multiple neighborhoods. But here's the turning point. Federal agents had quietly been building a RICO case since 2018. They officially labeled NBA YoungBoy as the leader of a violent Louisiana group and connected him to multiple incidents, including the famous Miami shooting situation. They also kept records of social media posts where people celebrated violence, along with music videos referencing real conflicts. The problem for investigators was never finding clues. It was organizing the clues into one solid structure. And now, with new information tying timelines together, they believe they finally have a complete picture. The timing couldn't be worse for NBA YoungBoy. He had just received a pardon from Donald Trump, and many people thought he was finally in the clear. But federal pardons only cover past convictions, not future charges and not RICO cases. A RICO conviction can carry a life sentence with no chance of parole, which makes this situation extremely serious. At this point, NBA YoungBoy's own music is the biggest challenge he faces. Every time he mentions body counts, every time he describes violent events, every time he updates numbers in his lyrics, investigators treat those lines as potential evidence. They believe songs, videos, and posts from people around him help them understand how groups like Ben 10, Herm the Black Sheep, Big B, and others allegedly played roles in different incidents. Even social media posts where people mocked rivals, music videos referencing real events and lyrics hinting at past conflicts, all of it is being analyzed under the federal microscope. Every investigators are looking at is public, documented, and something they believe they could present in court if they choose to move forward. But here's the part that has people talking nonstop. Some reporters and online researchers claim the incident count might be even higher than the 19 situations being discussed. These are just the events that public information has loosely connected through timelines, rumors, and music references, meaning there could be other cases that have never been linked or were handled quietly without headlines. Investigators are likely treating this newly surfaced information like a giant roadmap. Every connection people mention online, every timeline someone builds, every clip or lyric fans dig up, all of that becomes something investigators can choose to follow up on. They can speak to witnesses, review old calls, look through social media, and try to build a full picture of what really happened. And the streets are buzzing with talk. People point out that none of NBA YoungBoy's known rivals ever publicly argued with him about his lyric claims, except King Von. And Von passed away before he could respond again. Everyone else either stayed quiet or stepped away from the drama, and that silence made the rumors even louder in certain neighborhoods. Some observers say NBA YoungBoy's success may have made everything more complicated. The bigger he became, the more pressure his circle felt to protect him, and the more people online believed his lyrics had real meaning behind them. What may have started as typical rap tension slowly turned into something fans described as a full-scale street feud that grew alongside his fame. But according to legal experts, this situation goes far beyond whether NBA YoungBoy could face time in prison. The federal government could attempt to dismantle an entire organization if they believe a RICO case applies. RICO charges reach everyone investigators view as part of a group, from NBA affiliates to 4K Trey associates, and anyone believed to be connected to violent activity could face serious consequences if a case is ever filed. Reports say the investigation is focused on whether NBA YoungBoy acted as a leader or decision maker within the groups mentioned online. and whether money from his music career was connected to any type of wrongdoing. All allegations that have not been proven in court. Investigators are reviewing lyrics, social media videos, conversations, and financial records to see if any of it lines up with the theories they are exploring. At the heart of everything, this situation isn't just about rap, rivalry, or entertainment. It's about whether one of the biggest artists of this generation was surrounded by people who may have been involved in serious trouble, and whether those actions overlapped with the music industry. The public narrative claims there is a long trail of incidents behind the platinum success, but as of now, those are only allegations being discussed by fans, reporters, and investigators. Nothing confirmed in a courtroom. So the real question becomes this: will investigators be able to organize all these allegations into a solid legal case? Or will NBA YoungBoy overcome another wave of accusations just like he has in the past? The authorities might have a roadmap, but proving it is a whole different story, and it all comes down to whether a jury believes NBA YoungBoy was tied to these situations or simply caught in the middle of Baton Rouge's long-running street drama. What do you think about this federal investigation, and whether NBA YoungBoy will be able to move past these allegations once and for all? The story of NBA YoungBoy's rise and the federal spotlight surrounding him has turned into one of the most intense sagas hip-hop has ever seen. The investigators have their timeline, the fans have their theories, and the streets have their own version of the truth. But none of it means anything until a court decides what's real and what's rumor. Right now, every lyric, every post, every old alliance, and every conflict is being examined like never before. Some people say the feds are closing in, others say YoungBoy will walk free again, just like he has before, and a whole different group believes the streets will always keep the real story hidden. All we know for sure is this: the next chapter could reshape music, Baton Rouge history, and the entire conversation around rap investigations in America. The world is watching, the fans are debating, and the outcome is still a mystery wrapped in years of pressure, success, danger, and loyalty. If you're locked into this saga and want deeper breakdowns, exclusive updates, and raw hip-hop analysis, make sure you tap into BarzBuzz, where the stories hit harder and the truth gets louder. If this saga had you shook, wait till you see what's next. You already know what it is. BarzBuzz got the real, raw, and unfiltered breakdowns. So don't forget to like, subscribe, drop a comment, and share this with someone who needs to catch up.